In the previous lecture, we talked about three processes of word formation. They were borrowing, derivation, and compounding. In this lecture, we are going to talk about the rest three of them, starting with invention or coinage. Invention or coinage is the process of adding new words to the English language by inventing them, by creating them. So, by invention, people create new words because you know that everyday life changes. New concepts are added to our life. New things are created. And these concepts and things need names. And when people cannot find a proper name for them in the dictionaries, in their own language, they are resorted to coin, to invent new words for them. And this is the result of the process of invention. So new words are added to the language by the process of invention. The process is called invention or coinage, and the words are called the invented or the coined words. Let's have some examples of invented or coined words. Goof. Goof is a slang word. This word refers to the idiot or stupid person. It is added to the slang or colloquial dictionaries because it is used by people in everyday speech. However, it is not formal, but it is an invented word. Kodak is another invented word. It refers to a brand of cameras or photographic tools. Now it refers to the photographic machine itself. So it is a new word, and it is an invented word. Nylon is another invented word. It is a material that was invented in the previous century, and it was used in industry. At that time, they called it nylon, and up to now, it has the same name. So it is an invented word. Blog is another invented word. It refers to the personal website or personal web page. People open their own websites in order to write down their own diaries or recipes, etc. They call it blogs. So blog is an invented, a coined word. You have some other examples on page 121, and all of them are required. The next process is called clipping. In clipping, we cut off the beginning or the end of a word or both, leaving a part to stand for the whole. In this process, we delete either the first part of the word or the last part of the word, or sometimes both the first part and the last part, to leave a part to stand for the whole. This part that is left is called the clipped word. It is the result of a clipping. So the process is called clipping, and the result of this process is called a clipped word. Let's take an example. Photograph. Photograph is the word before clipping. When we clip the last part of this word, graph, what remains is photo. Photo means photograph. Both of them refer to the same thing, but photo is a clipped word. After clipping the last part, which is graph, both photograph and photo have the same meaning, but photo is a clipped word. There are three types of a clipping. The first type is the most common type. It is clipping the end of the word, the last part of the word. Most nouns undergo this process. It means that mostly it happens with nouns. Let's take some examples of clipping the last part of the word. Professor is the word. After clipping the last part, essa, what is left is prof. Prof and professor refer to the same person, but prof is the clipped word. It is the new word after clipping the last part of the word. Examination. When we delete, clip, cut the last part of this word, ination, what is left is exam. Exam is the clipped word. That refers to examination. It has the same meaning of examination, but it is clipped. Mathematics. In mathematics, we also delete or clip the last part of this word, ematics. What is left is math. Math is the clipped word after clipping the last part of the word. Gymnasium. After deleting nasium, after clipping nasium, what is left is gym. Gym stands for gymnasium. It has the same meaning, but gym is the clipped word after clipping the last part of the original word. The second type is the less common type of clipped words. In this type, we clip the first part of the word, and what remains stands for the whole. Let's take some examples. Airplane. Airplane is the word before clipping. After clipping the first part, air, what remains is plane. So plane stands for the whole word. Both airplane and plane refer to the same thing, but plane is the clipped word. Elizabeth. After clipping the first part of Elizabeth, Eliza, what remains is Beth. So Beth is the clipped word. Caravan. In caravan, we clip the first part, cara. So what remains is van. Van stands for the whole word. Caravan. Van is the clipped word after clipping the first part. Telephone. After clipping the first part, tele, what remains is phone. Phone stands for the whole word. Telephone and phone refer to the same thing, but phone is the clipped word after clipping the first part. In the last type of a clipping, the first and the last parts are clipped. What is left is the middle part. The middle part stands for the whole word. Very few words have their first and last parts clipped. Let's see some of them. Influenza. This word is before clipping. When we clip the first and the last part, in and enza, what is left is flu, the middle part. Flu stands for the whole word. Influenza is the same as flu, but flu is the clipped word. Again, Elizabeth. Elizabeth can be clipped in this way, by clipping the first and the last part, a and abeth. What is left is the middle part, Liz. So Liz is the clipped word after clipping the first and the last part. Distiller. We clip the first and the last part, D and ER. What is left is still, to stand for the whole word. Refrigerator. In this long word, we clip the first and the last part, re and rater. What is left is fridge. So fridge, the middle part, stands for the whole word refrigerator, and it is the result of clipping the first and the last part. The last process is called acronymy. Acronymy means forming a word from the initials or beginning segments of successive words. It means that we form a word from the initial letters of the words that come one after the other in a phrase. So we just take the initial letters from the words in a phrase to form a new word. This new word is going to be called an acronym. The process is called acronymy, and the word is going to be called an acronym. So we just take the initial letters from each word in a phrase to form this acronym. Let's take an example. SWAT is an acronym. It consists of 4 letters, SWAT. Each one of these letters represents the initial letter of a word in a phrase. The phrase is Special Weapons and Tactics. S from special, W from weapons, A from and T from tactics. So when we take these initial letters, we will have this acronym, SWAT. Now we come to how these acronyms are pronounced. In some cases, the initials are pronounced as letters. For example, VIP. VIP stands for Very Important Person. V from very, I from important, P from person. But the acronym is pronounced as VIP as letters. PDF. P portable, D document, F format. We pronounce this acronym as letters, PDF. There are a lot of acronyms that are pronounced in this way, as letters. Another way of pronouncing acronyms is by pronouncing the initials or the beginning segments of an acronym as a word. For example, NATO. In this word, in this acronym, we have 4 letters, NATO. Each one is the initial letter of a word in the phrase North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This acronym is pronounced as a word, not as letters, not as NATO, but it is pronounced as NATO, as a word. Another example is the acronym RADAR. In this acronym, we have the initial letters of each word in the phrase radio detecting and ranging. RA from radio, D from detecting, A from and, R from ranging. We pronounce this acronym as a word, not as letters, so we say radar, not RADAR. Another acronym is NOW, NOW. All of them are written in capital letters. It stands for National Organization of Women. NOW is pronounced as a word, not as letters. We do not say NOW. And pay attention, there is a difference between NOW as an acronym and NOW as an adverb. This NOW is written in the capital letters. All the letters are written in capital letters to differentiate between this acronym, between this word and the adverb now, the adverb of time now.